today's topic is going to be Depopulation Agenda. And so we'll look at Malthusianism, eugenics, the precursors to Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030.
Good stuff.
Yep, so just a quick background. Malthusianism will tell us that billions of people need to die for the survival of the species. Eugenics tells us which people out of the populations need to die or need to be removed from the population so that the species can survive. And then the precursors for Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, that's the actual plan that they're going to use to actually carry it out. So for this next section, we strongly recommend that you have watched one of the previous podcasts, specifically our last podcast, number 4, The Death of the Nation States, to kind of, I guess, have an up-to-date background on the material that we're going to cover here. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in it. So you can just follow along on the notes. If you're watching by video and audio, you can watch the video portion.
Yeah, if you're only watching on audio, just so you know, we have our notes out. So it's easier because we know some of these topics are very dense and complicated. So we decided to show some of our notes so people can at home follow through or even take notes.
Yep. Yeah. And so let's jump right in. What we're seeing today is this idea of a necessity to remove people from the population or for the population to be reduced. And if you're thinking that people, if you're thinking of people in terms of their jobs or their usefulness to society or what contributions that they're making to the society, then that whole idea in this New World Order concept, that whole idea, just like the nation states, is coming to an end. And so we get these ideas that are perpetuated in books like the book is called The Limits to Growth in 1972 by Dennis Meadows, who produced this booklet for one of our roundtable organizations that we've mentioned before. This one in particular is the Club of Rome, and it warns of overpopulation. And you have this idea that there is no real function or purpose to the existence of what later gets termed the useless eaters of the society. And so the next bullet point here, the useless eaters, what is that? Well, it's a population that's just consuming resources. They're living longer. They're producing more waste. They're growing exponentially against the Earth's limited or finite resources. And so in the book, a case is made for the reduction of the population in favor of a select few. And so those that are beneficial to society, and you get this idea, and this is kind of like the tail end of the last podcast, you're going to save mankind as a species, and to do that you have to save mankind's environment or his ecosystem. And so we go through the type of ideas that are put forth into the consciousness of the people today. This is why you're seeing a lot of this, what's known as the Gaia Propaganda. Save Mother Earth. Gaia is the real virgin that brings forth life. And that kind of is going to get us on some of the Masonic ideas because, with the Masonic symbolism, you have the compass and the set square with the G representing, they would say outwardly that's God, or generically speaking. And so the G represents the generative principle. So there's a lot of stuff that's tied into astronomy and the celestial bodies and things like that. But that's for another podcast. I don't want to get too much into the weeds there.
Either that or some sexual organs, right? So it's like it's very interesting when it comes to it. Yeah. Again, not us, what they say that is the aprons that they wear, what each thing, what the pillar is, Yep. I'm sure there are people, again, just to give a little bit preview, you've heard of like some of the obelisk, what they represent and all that stuff too, but that's just like kind of tip of it. No pun intended.
Pun intended. Those are phallic symbols. And so, all that stuff, all the gory details of that will be in the mystery religion section. So, and so you get this idea, at the dawn of the New World Order 2.0, religion is this idea of the secular masses. And so this is the exoteric doctrine that conceals the esoteric doctrine. So outwardly pantheism, while it has all these different flavors, kind of like a Baskin-Robbins, 31 flavors. It's all ice cream, but it's in different for the different palates of the world. But inwardly, you get this idea of Luciferianism is going to pop up, and then within Luciferianism, there's a whole smorgasbord of things that are going to be there too for us to kind of dive into. But keeping with this idea of the two doctrine policy. So things are exoterically or outwardly to the world, Gaiaism or earth worship, pantheism or paganism. So pantheism, all is God. There's no distinction between creator and created. And then you get esoterically, what does the inner circle believe? It's gonna devolve into Luciferianism in all of its different forms. And so with that, you're gonna get Satanism and a whole bunch of ideas that we'll get into on the mystery religion side. And most of that material is going to come either from a lot of it's going to come from Masonic sources, and so that's going to be an interesting piece to cover, right? So and so where we were with this book, Limits to Growth, what is it based on? So they're based on two different people, two different ideas. And so we have Thomas Robert Malthus gives us Malthusianism, and Francis Galton gives us eugenics. And so